What is going on, all of you amazing gamers out there in the world? I am Mega Amster. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, appreciate you stopping by. And this is the second year in a row I'm kind of doing this gaming tradition for myself that I've set up, which is coming up with a list of video games that I want to try to tackle in 2025 as someone who has over 150 games on their gaming backlog. It's one of those things where I want to tackle some of these older games that I've bought and just want to be able to dedicate some time to playing to them. So I'm trying to get myself more to hone in on certain games that, try to strive for to complete. And if I don't, it's not the end of the world. It's just something that out of all the different categories I have on my backlog, because I kind of organize them by the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox Series X, some of the older platforms that I have, Steam Deck, 3DS. I have the way I have it organized is very specific to myself. I have last year's video to kind of compare if you weren't here watching that last year. But there are 6 different games I'm going to try to commit myself to here with my 2025 gaming goals. One thing, so I do want to mention, so compared to last year, I did a main pick and then a backup pick. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to do one pick for each because I think that's a little too much. Because, sometimes I feel like playing certain games over others, and that's why it's less of a commitment. It's I can set goals for myself to strive for, but if I don't get them, it's it shouldn't be a big deal. I will say I did complete 4 out of 6 games that I mentioned I was going to try to in 2024, so I would consider that a win. Let me go over some of those quickly here. From last year's, we've got Persona 5 was the big one. I guess I didn't complete Persona 5 as of this recording. I'm 75 hours in, so I'm a lot of the ways in. Most likely I'm going to have to wrap up this game in 2025. I don't know if I'm going to finish it by the end of the year, but Persona 5 was the game I committed to really trying to play for the Switch, and I did. I played a lot of that game. I assume most of that game. I've gotten quite a ways in, which is great because I really wanted to play it, and so I ended up doing a lot of that this year. The Xbox game I committed to was Tunic. Was it Tunic? Yes. Which, yeah, I played that very early on in the year. Fantastic game. Absolutely loved that. I finished that game. I did a lot of the optional. I might have done all the optional secrets or close to it in that game. Absolutely loved Tunic, and so played my time with that. And I did end up playing the original Final Fantasy VII on my Steam Deck. That one, I didn't fully complete it. I ended up, and go watch the review that I uploaded 7 months ago on this channel if you're interested. This was earlier in the year as well. I didn't end up fully finishing it. Turn-based RPGs, especially the older ones, are hard for me to fully get through. But I did most of it, and then I watched a playthrough for the last 5 hours. I got really close to beating it. It's not a ridiculously long game, which I appreciated. And I got through most of it, so I felt pretty satisfied with that. One of the games I did not end up doing was in my older system category. I didn't play a lot of older systems this year, which was Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. I did not end up playing this one. That is still on my list at some point to play, but one thing that I'm doing for this year is what I want to try to do with these gaming goal videos is not repeat my pick from last year. Otherwise, that gets kind of boring, you know what I mean? I have plenty of games to choose from, so I do not think that is going to be an issue here. I'm trying to not repeat games from last year. I'm also trying to not include games that I am fully planning on streaming. For example, right now you're listening to the Jack and Daxter soundtrack, which thank you all again for helping me reach that subscriber goal. That is a game I'm going to be streaming in January or early next year, and I'm not including that in this gaming goals video. I want it to be games that I'm not currently planning on streaming. Maybe I do end up doing it, but not currently planning on streaming fully through. So Riders Zero Gravity was one of the games I did not do. The other one I did not get to was Pokemon Crystal, and that is also still on my list. I have that on the 3DS Virtual Console, and I do want to play it at some point. I still have that and Pokemon Y on my 3DS to play through one day. So definitely want to one of these days, but I feel like I played a lot of RPGs, especially with all the Mario RPGs that I streamed. I played so many RPGs already, and Persona 5 and Final Fantasy 7. So last year was 2024 was a heavy RPG year for me. So I don't think I'm going to get to it in 2025, maybe 2026, especially with Pokemon Legends ZA coming out, and I might check that out. That's probably going to be enough Pokemon for me for 1 year, but we will see. The final game that I did end up committing to was Minish Cap, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, which I really loved. I ended up streaming this game, which I wasn't really sure about at first if I was going to, and then I ended up doing it, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed my time. It was one of the only Zelda games I hadn't played up to that point, so I'm glad I finally did. Shout out to my boy Vadi. So yeah, like I said, pretty much I got 4 out of my 6 goals done. Now, while I technically haven't finished Persona 5 as of this recording, and I technically didn't fully beat Final Fantasy 7 on my own, but I did 95% of the game. I still went in and put a lot of time into those games, and to me, that's enough to like clear them off my backlog, you know, and kind of get that done. That's really what the gaming goal videos here are supposed to be, are for me to like help me clear my backlog off. So, and mission accomplished on that front with 4 out of 6 of these games. So 2/3 is pretty good. I would say that's a win. Would I have loved to do all of them? For sure, but it's at this point I need to realize it's not very realistic. So we're about to get into my actual 2025 gaming goals video now. I just wanted to kind of preface by reflecting on my previous gaming goals for 2024, and now we're going to get into the 2025 ones. So there will be 6 games, same categories I did here. I almost included VR because I now have the MetaQuest 3, but I don't have my foot fully in the door for that market yet, so I'm still getting in there. Maybe 2026 is gaming goals, but not at the moment. So with that, like I said, no repeats from last year if I didn't complete them. So you're not going to see Sonic Rad Zero Gravity or Pokemon Crystal on these. And the only game I'm currently planning on streaming that I know of right now is Jak and Daxter, so that's not going to be here either. But with that, let's move on. So we're going to start with the Switch. I've mentioned some of these previously, so if you've watched streams of mine, you may have realized this. This is a series that I've played before. Not like a huge fan of. It's another RPG, actually, different kind of RPG. I am a fan of the characters and story of these games. The gameplay, I've come around on it. I can enjoy it. But I've heard especially the characters in this game seem fantastic, and it was a big entry for the series. And I haven't played the series since, man, it's been at least a few years since I played one of the older games. But I'm more of a fan of the newer modern games, and this is the next one on that list for me. There's still others as well that came out after, but this is one that I definitely wanted to experience, and that is, drumroll please, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like I said, if you were on some of my previous streams, you've heard me mention how I want to play this game at some point. I haven't played a Fire Emblem since about 4 years ago. I tried playing Fire Emblem GBA or Blazing Blade, whatever you want to call it, on the Wii U Virtual Console. Never finished it. I got about halfway through. But I've played Awakening, love Awakening. Awakening is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I played all 3 versions of Fates, only beat Birthright, came really close to beating Conquest. Revelations, I just gave up halfway. And Shadows of Valentia, I really liked. Got close to the end, couldn't beat it. It's too tough for me. There's something about RPGs and getting towards the end, and I just can't fully complete them. But I'm really hoping this is when I can. Because to me, from what I'm hearing about this game, this seems to be like Fates done right, in my opinion. I didn't love how Fates was handled. The fact that it was 3 different games was kind of weird and like split up. And it was weird how like Birthright was really easy, Conquest was quite difficult, and Revelations was also pretty difficult, but I feel like somewhere in the middle. And just, I don't know, it was interesting how that structure came out. Like, to get all 3 games, you had to pretty much pay $100, right? Whereas this was, what, a $60 game at the time of release? And the fact that you can choose, I mean, there are the different routes of the houses you can do, which is really cool. I think at this point, I'm going to go with Blue Lions. Everybody I talk to tells me to do Black Eagles, but I'm like, listen, I like to deviate from the norm. What's his name? Who's the blonde dude? Dimitri, right? He's my boy. And Fire Emblem, what was it? What was the mobile game? Oh, I haven't played that game in so long. Heroes. In Fire Emblem Heroes, he was my boy. But like, I don't know if I'm gonna do all of the house playthroughs. I know like that can add some more story and stuff, but I kind of want to just do one run and then see. Because like I said, I have so many other games to play. I'm probably only going to do one house if the other routes don't change up too much. I mean, yeah, you get more characters, sure, but I think I'm gonna go with Blue Lions as of now. But let me know in the comments below if I shouldn't do Blue Lions, if I should do Black Eagles, if I should do Golden Deer. You know what I mean? No spoilers, of course, for any of these games in the comments, please. But this is one that I want to check out as someone who... Oh my God, shut up. Apologies for the YouTube TV ad. Unfortunately, I do not have premium. But yeah, so Fire Emblem is one that I want to look into in 2025. You know, it's been a very long time since I've played a Fire Emblem game, and it feels right. You know, there are other games I could play, but it's been a while since it's been almost 10 years since I've fully like almost completed a Fire Emblem game. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. It's a more modern entry. It was a popular entry with fans, so I'm curious to check that one out. But that is going to be my Switch gaming goal for 2025. Now for Series X, I had a few different options here for Series X. Now this one, is this technically an RPG? I don't know. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong with this. It's definitely more action-oriented, but this is a series that I've always been curious about. It's from a publisher that I love, and I've loved for pretty much my entire life, and I want to check out more of their back catalog. And this was recommended to me as like a good entry point for this series. It continues to get games today. It gets like at least one game a year now. It's honestly one of their most popular series as up to this point. But this is definitely a good starting point for me to pick up on, and that is Yakuza 0. Now, I've heard this game's really long, so that's gonna be, I'm a little hesitant, I'm a little nervous about how long this is, especially not being on a portable system, because I like having, like, you know, for example, Xenoblade Chronicles or Persona 5, or I mean, even Fire Emblem Three Houses, like on Switch, so that, you know, I could play it on the train, I could play it if a passenger and someone's driving in a car, you know, I could play it on the plane, stuff like that. With the Xbox, I gotta sit down and play it on my console. I know they have cloud streaming, but like, I don't have the internet for that, or the data plan for that. You know what I mean? So like, I would have to sit down and really, really play this series. But I really want to, because it seems so fun. I barely watched the TV show, but like, this seems so fun, right? This is what, the prequel, the first one in the timeline. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. And just like, it seems so goofy, but yet so fun. Like, the action gameplay seems appealing to me, but also just like the whole vibe. I almost picked Shenmue over this, because Shenmue to me kind of seems like the precursor, and as someone who grew up with this like a Dreamcast, I think I would get into it, but it seems like this might be a better point to start off with, especially because the series is obviously a lot more relevant now than Shenmue, but also, if I play this and then go back to Shenmue later, I might appreciate Shenmue more. But we'll see. This is definitely one that I want to check out and see if I like this series. Right? This is kind of like a testing point for me to try to play this game, see if I like the overall Yakuza series, and then go from there. It seems fun, you know? It seems like it doesn't take itself too seriously, but also like the gameplay itself is really fun. I did play about like 5-10 minutes of a demo of it through Game Pass when I first got my Series X, and liked it enough, and I bought it for $5 digitally. I was like, hell yeah, that's worth it. And I'm very much looking forward to finally checking this out. Another Sega property that I want to check out. As someone who's a big Sega fan, I'm trying to try a lot of their games. Same thing with Nintendo, you know? I'm trying a breadth of their games, and then I can kind of focus my depth on things that I end up really liking. Like, if I really like this game, maybe I'll get some of the newer ones, like a Dragon, the 7th Yakuza game with Ichiban. Like, I might be tempted by that. You know, I might be tempted by some of the older ones. I know the first Yakuza just came to Switch, so like, maybe there's some places to check that out, you know what I mean? But this seems like a good starting point to jump in and hopefully do some Dame Dane karaoke sessions. But that is going to be my Series X pick. Now, for Steam, I have way too many Steam games. Way too many Steam games. They're just absolutely too many. You know, it's a problem. A lot of it comes from like Steam sales back in like my high school days, and I just bought games and never played them. However, this one wasn't technically through Steam. This was through GOG, because it's not technically on Steam, but I'm going to try to see if I can set it up and play it through my Steam Deck. I did mess around with it a little bit earlier in 2024 to see if it would work, and it seemed to work, fingers crossed, so far. If not, I'll just have to play it on my PC, which less ideal. I like having the Steam Deck, but this is an absolute classic. Did this game come out when I was born? I always like to play games that come out the year I was born, which was 97. This trailer is from 1997 at the very least, so maybe came out a little after. But absolute classic, like fan favorite series, especially for like more PlayStation heavy fans. And this is a series that I've always wanted to check out and just never got the chance to. I had some of the games, but now this is definitely one that I'm curious to check out. And this is the first game in that series, and that series is Metal Gear Solid. I'm curious to see if this works on Steam Deck. It might be a little janky, it might not work, but we will see. This is a really old trailer, by the way. Shout out to who uploaded this. Oh, it doesn't say. Anyways, yeah, I am very much curious to check the series out. Some people have said start with 3. Other people have said start with 1. I know I shouldn't start with 2 for sure. I should play this game before I play 2. But I really, as someone who can tolerate older games, this to me is like when I picked Final Fantasy VII last year, right? Where I want to appreciate older games, so this seems like the way to do that, right? To check out some of the older ones first and then jump into the newer ones might help me appreciate them more. And especially because like getting a copy of Twin Snakes on GameCube is impossible these days, right? It's so expensive. This was the way to go. It was like what, $5-10 on GOG. And if I can get it up and running, even if I have to play it on PC, like still, like just having that option, I think would be really cool. There's something appealing to me about some of these kind of chunky graphics here sometimes. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. I mean, you know, there's plenty of fans of Metal Gear Solid, and I do have 2 and 3 in the HD collection on Xbox that I want to check out. I also have Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which I may stream next year. We'll see. But this is one that I probably wouldn't stream much of. I would just like to check it out and see if I end up enjoying it. You know what I mean? Maybe this could either go Final Fantasy VII, where I actually really end up liking it, or it could go Tomb Raider 1, where I don't like it as much. You know what I mean? I could see it going either way. But this is one that I do want to check out, just because it's one of those series that, like I said before, like a lot of these picks are trying to like get breadth into different, you know, series and like experience different ones and see if it clicks for me, see if I like it. This is going to be an interesting one to see if I like it, though, because the newer ones, of course, are more modern. And I'm not the biggest stealth gameplay fan, but like, I don't know, this is one that I almost feel like not obligated to check out, but one that, like, you know, I could increase my gaming experience by checking this one out and seeing how it works. So it's going to be a little clunky, I know, but I'm looking forward to it. I like playing a lot of the older games on Steam Deck to see how they work in like portable form too. So this is one I'm definitely curious to check up on. But yeah, that's going to be my Steam Deck pick. So we'll see how I end up. Oh my goodness, how I end up enjoying that. But that is my Steam pick. There we go. Bring that back. That soundtrack. Now, I kind of rope a bunch of my older systems into one category. So like original Xbox, Xbox 360, Wii, Wii U, GameCube, Dreamcast, all of those I rope into one category now. I used to do it separately, but now I just have it in one. Especially because, like, as you know, I have the original hardware, it's starting to die out, and that's kind of where this pick comes into play. This is on the GameCube, and this is a game in a long-running series that I've played a lot of games in. One of the only ones I haven't played. It is in a collection on the Nintendo Switch, but I already own the other games in the collection, so I didn't really want to just buy it for this game. But I'm really fingers crossed that the GameCube still runs. Like, I do not know if I'm going to be able to fully get through this game, but I really want to try because I'm worried about hardware kind of dying out, and I feel like I should just get to it sooner rather than later. But also, you know, it's a little bit of a polarizing game for fans. You know, some people love it, some people don't like it at all. The people that I've talked to really love it, so I'm hoping that I can get some appreciation out of it as well. And this here for the GameCube is Super Mario Sunshine. The only GameCube game that's still in my backlog, and intentionally why I'm trying to pick it here, because I want to get through it. And also, I mean, it's Mario Sunshine. Like, it's one of the only 3D Mario games I have not played. I've played 64, I've played Galaxy, Galaxy 2, 3D Land, 3D World, Odyssey. Like, I've played most, even the 2D games, right? This is one of the ones, kind of like when I picked a Minish Cap last year for Zelda, like one of the only Mario games I have not checked out. And this is one that I want to see what all the conversation is about, right? Because this is definitely the most polarizing 3D Mario game, and I want to see why, you know? I debated about streaming this game. That's still not off the table fully, but I've also streamed so much Mario as of late. In 2024, like, between those 3 Mario RPGs, I streamed so much Mario. And granted, this is a Mario platformer. I also am a little nervous that I'm going to get very mad at this game, which I guess could make it a good streaming game, but it also could be very frustrating. So I don't know. We'll see. It's still up in the air if I might stream this game or not, which is why I included it here. But I really want to try to tackle this game this year because, like I said, my GameCube, shout out to Chase who sold it to me years ago, it's not always the best with reading discs. So I'm curious to see. I could always emulate as a backup I do have the files up and running. Don't tell Nintendo. If I need to, you know what I mean? But like, this is definitely one that I want to check out and see what it is for myself and form my own opinion because I've heard both sides. So, like, the premise seems really fun. I'm curious about the level design, really, and if I end up going for the 100% because I heard it's not worth it, but as a completionist in a lot of these platformer collectathons, I don't know. I'm tempted. I'll be curious to see how bad it gets, you know, and if I can do it. But it looks really fun. I like the vibes of Mario Sunshine from what I've seen. The music is fantastic. So we'll see. I'll have more thoughts on this later, hopefully in the year. But that is going to be my, I guess, retro pick, if you will. Although some of these other platforms, like the next one we're getting to, 3DS, is also retro, but you know what I mean. Retro console, that's what I should call it. Retro console pick. That's what I should call it. That would be Mario Sunshine. But now, 3DS. 3DS is interesting because honestly, I don't have many games on my backlog for my 3DS anymore. I did a really good job of cleaning up my 3DS backlog over the years. I played a lot of 3DS and like I have so many virtual console games on 3DS, but I've played almost all of them. You know, a lot of old NES games, some like DSiWare games. I've played so many of them, which I don't know how I did. I just played a lot of my 3DS growing up. I guess I was a big handheld gamer, but this is one in a long-running series. I don't want to say super long, but a long-running series still. It is the 6th entry in that series, and I've played all the other ones up till this point, just over the last like 5 to 10 years or so, like not that long ago. And I'm slowly trying to catch up with all these games on handheld. And yeah, I guess there's really not much else to say. That for my 3DS pick is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. End of 2023, I beat Dual Destinies, and I really liked the game. There were aspects I really liked, and there were aspects I didn't like so much. But I still really enjoyed my time overall with the game. I've heard some mixed things on this one. I think people might like it more than Dual Destiny, although I could be wrong. I don't fully know for sure, but I've played all the other games, like I said, up until this point. I'm also eventually working my way up to the Phoenix Wright Professor Layton crossover. Right now, I haven't played any Professor Layton games. I want to do that eventually, but just not at the moment. But at least here, like, to jump into the 6th entry, the newest entry technically of this series. I know they have all the spin-off series, and like thankfully a lot of those collections have been released on Switch now. The investigation games, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, all of those, and all of these games. But I still have these on my 3DS because I bought them right before the eShop closed down, just in case. They hadn't announced the 4 through 6 collection at that point. So this is definitely the one I want to catch up on because it's just the next entry. And I like these games. I'm not a huge visual novel fan necessarily, but I think with Dual Destinies, did I have to use a guide at all? I think I might have had to like one time. I was kind of proud of myself for how much better I did, so I'm hoping with this one I won't have to as well. Athena, what's up? Athena's great. I'm glad she's back in here. But it's definitely like a case of just, just continuing in the series, checking these games out. Like I said, I don't have a ton more games on my 3DS to play, surprisingly. There were the Pokemon games I mentioned earlier, this, and then a couple of others that I'll keep a secret for now in case I use them in future videos. But yeah, this is definitely one I want to check out, and then I'll be fully caught up on Ace Attorney, and then hopefully if they ever release an Ace Attorney 7, which I feel like might be inevitable with all the collections they've been doing, and I think have been selling pretty well, I'll be there. I'll be there ready to be fully caught up with the series at that point. And just, I love the vibes. The characters are so fun in these games. It's so dramatic and over the top, and I absolutely love it for that. The gameplay I've never been the biggest fan of, but they're nice and chill games to play like on the train or something, and portably. Like I said, the portable nature is really so nice with these. So I'm excited to check it out. And we'll see what kind of goofy characters and enemies come across the court in this one. But that is my 3DS pick for 2025. Now, final pick for this list is an oldie one. Now, I have my I call them Nintendo Switch Online category essentially, which are games on the Nintendo Switch Online service, because there are a million of them that I've never played. But there are also some that I bought previously on Virtual Console, not many, but some that I bought on Virtual Console that I never played. And those ones I prioritize on this list. This one is also from a publisher that I love. And I've loved their games for pretty much my entire life. And just another series that I've always appreciated from a distance, especially the music, but never played much of. I played some of them in the older collections that I've gotten, but never fully dived into any of them. And that pick for my, I guess, Nintendo Switch Online pick, that's the only way I can really describe it, is Streets of Rage 2. Tricked ya. It's still Sega. But yeah, so Streets of Rage, love this soundtrack. Go Straight from Streets of Rage 2, one of my favorite retro songs of all time. Like, it is up there for sure. The soundtrack is just so good. The vibes here are great. I'm not the best at a lot of these older beat-em-ups. Like, I've tried some of this briefly Streets of Rage games, but Altered Beast, Alien Storm. I'm not great at these games, and I'm curious to see how far I could get. I'm curious about the NSO version, like how in-depth that, you know what I mean? Like how forgiving that is, because it might be kind of tricky. I'm a little nervous about how it's going to go, but it's like, I want to appreciate more Sega series as someone who likes their characters, like some of these characters in crossover games that I see. I want to gain an appreciation for it, and it's just like, I love the vibes of Streets of Rage, and just I want to see how it kind of goes. And I don't imagine it'll be a super duper long game, you know what I mean? It'll be a nice quick one to breeze through and really just gain an appreciation of. And I chose 2 specifically because, I mean, it's the only one on NSO, I think, from what I remember seeing. Correct me in the comments if they've added any of the other ones. I have all 3 on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection, but this is the only one on NSO, so I'm just kind of keeping it here. So yeah, definitely one I want to check out and kind of see how it goes. But yeah, not much else to say about it. Just like another little like retro pick here, because I do like going back and playing older games, as you could probably tell with like Metal Gear Solid, for example. Some of the really old games like back on the Genesis and Super Nintendo. So this is one I hope to try to tackle this year. But that is going to do it for my gaming goals video. So just a recap of the 6 games that I did pick. Fire Emblem Three Houses for the Switch. Yakuza 0 for the Xbox Series X, Metal Gear Solid, I'm going to attempt that on my Steam Deck, Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice on the 3DS, and then Streets of Rage 2 on the Genesis, but via NSO. And actually, before I do end this video, I did almost forget, kind of just to summarize, and I mentioned this on previous videos and previous streams, my main goal for 2025 is to not buy as many new games. And I know that sounds weird, but as someone who has a massive backlog, a ton of games to catch up on, it's like I don't want to buy too many new games. I really want to try to limit myself. It's tough when I make videos talking about like my top 5 2025 most anticipated games. Go check that out on the channel if you're interested. It's tough with those games out there that I want to check out, but I really want to try to scale back. So we'll see what games I end up getting next year. And if this Nintendo Switch successor launches next year, which it seems like it's going to be tough. So the point of this video is to kind of reel myself back in and try to like hone down specific backlog games to tackle, because I have so many and I would like to check them out at some point. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about my 6 picks that I picked here. Have you played any of these games before? Did you end up enjoying them? Did you not? Like I said, keep it spoiler free in the comments. If you have any other recommended games, I may not own them, but I always consider the suggestions. Let me know in the comments below as well. But with that, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much again for watching. I will catch you all on the next video or live stream. Potentially live streams with these games, we'll see. But until then, take care. Keep on gaming.